Hello, fellow duelists. This is Shadow of the Moon, and welcome back to another Blackwing deck profile for the month of January. So, in this deck profile, I'm going to be showcasing my pure Blackwing deck. So, this deck is a lot of fun. Unlike my Bestial Blackwings, this focuses more on the actual Blackwings, and then majority of it can be more hand traps, which is beneficial because in this format we do have a lot of hand traps and a lot of like cards like Mulch Army and Dominus Impulse and everything running around. So, it is very important to be able to actually have protection against those plays. But this deck is a lot of fun. If you're learning and you're just learning how to play Blackwings for the very first time, I would highly recommend that you start off with this deck because this teaches you the ins and the outs of the combos, and just all in all can set up a really good field. So without any further ado, let's go ahead straight on into the deck profile. So in this format, I'm going to try to do it without the light to see if the glare if since there's no glare, if it makes it any better. So first off, obviously, 3 copies of Simoon. This is very standard. You do need 3 Simoons for the deck. This is what helps to kick off the deck. You search for a card, you search for Black Whirlwind, and then you play it, and then from there you can summon it with its effect, and then you can search for another Blackwing monster. And then we're going to be playing 3 Sudri. Sudri is also very important in this deck. You need Sudri for the deck because this allows you to search additionally for another card or a Blackwing monster or Blackwing card that mentions Blackwing Dragon. So that can be a wide variety of things. And then we're going to be playing 3 Vada. That's standard. You're going to have 3 Vada at this point. This is basic in my opinion. And then we're going to be playing with 2 Chinook. So 2 Chinook, really good. This is very, very beneficial. This allows you to discard this card to play Black Feather Whirlwind, which is the other Black Whirlwind type card from the deck. And also, if you synchro summon a card, you can banish this card to add a Blackwing card from your deck to your hand, which is very, very, very worthwhile. All right, and then for the one-ups, because we are playing a lot of one-ups. We are playing Eroshi the Squall. We are playing Chinook. We are playing Sharnga. We are playing Hammerton. We are playing, well, first let's go with Gale. And we're playing Zephyros, and then we're playing Zonda. All right, so all these are pretty much standard. I personally think that I'm playing a Roshi, as you notice, a Roshi the Squall. We are playing the Red Hot Dragon Abyss because honestly, having a Omni Negate for a spell trap or effect can really, really help this deck out, especially because your whole object is to not completely shut down your opponent, but to have multiple interruptions and ways to kind of counter what they have. And honestly, Gale's in here because I love Gale. If you don't want to play with Gale, you don't have to. I'm being honest. That's more of like a personal preference. If you feel comfortable and you don't want to play with that, you totally don't have to play with Gale. I just like playing it with it. And then for the Honorary Blackwing, we have the Assault Synchron. So Assault Synchron is busted. Really good. Love Assault Synchron. Works really well with the deck, honestly. And see if there's any way. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Assault Synchron works very well. I love this card. This is a really, really good card in my opinion. So definitely worth playing. Alright, so that's going to be your small world bridge also. Remember, this is going to be your small world bridge, and this allows you to search for your Simoon, your Sudri, or whatever have you, and actually help you go into your plays. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the spells and traps. So, obviously, we've got 2 copies of Black Whirlwind, and we've got 1 copy of Black Feather Whirlwind. This is all standard, obviously. You kind of need these in the deck. These are what makes the deck work really, really well. You can have Black Whirlwind, Black Feather Whirlwind. This is what also can search for your Blackwing monsters. And then for the other ones, we're playing triple Small World. Small World is your bridge card. This allows you to get certain cards in your deck that you need. This is a very, very good card in my opinion. I love using this because this really does help in the deck. Also, if you get hand screwed and you have a Small World, you can still go into your plays. And then lastly, we're playing 1 Pot of Prosperity. A Pot of Prosperity is limited to 1, which sucks, but you do have 1 Pot of Prosperity. This helps you dig through your deck and get the cards that you need. Now we're going to be moving on to the hand traps, and there is a lot of hand traps and interruptions, let me tell you. So, first off, the first cards that we have, you're going to be having 3 Ash Blossoms. This is pretty standard. Ash is a very standard card. Okay, like love Ash. Ash is really good. This is obviously basic. Then you're having 3 effect failures. You got 3 effect right here, and these are really good. If you wanted to take these out and you wanted to add something else, you totally could. That is definitely an option. I just like having the effect failures in here just for casual play and everything. But obviously, this would get placed with Droll or it would get replaced with a Bolcharmy if you had that or whatever, but I like this. This is more of like a budget option. This also works really well with the deck. And then we're having 3 bystials, Magnahut, or Magnahut, Bystial, Baldrake, and Druid Swarm. These are pretty much all you need. These are really good extenders in and of itself. Even though this is not a Bystial Blackwing deck, I still have these in here because these are really good counters to Rizal. Also good with Yubel and any other kinds of decks or Fiendsmith. So this does work really well with the deck. But if you wanted to take these out, you could. But I just have them here because they still work. And then we're having 3 Imperms. Obviously, standard, best hand trap in the format. It's still one of the best hand traps. Always will probably still be one of the best hand traps. This works so well with the deck. This stops to negate. And also, I do get people asking about, like, which is better, Effect Veil or Imperm. Imperm, in my opinion, is better because, A, it can't really be countered because Effect Veil, or you can still negate it. But with Imperm, you can't. It's harder to negate it because it's a trap card, but also you can play it at the start of your turn. If your opponent has already went and they've summoned a board, you can play at the start of your turn, and this really actually does either draw a negate out for it because they have to use it, or you can play at the beginning of your turn and then continue to play. So it kind of acts as like a mini Dark Ruler No More for one monster. And then we're playing the Call by the Grave because this card is very important in this format with Mulch Army. You've got Triple Tactics Talent, which works really well with the deck. And then my personal favorite, which is kind of like an interruption, that's why it's in here, is Twin Shadow. Twin Shadow is busted. I love Twin Shadow. This card is so good. This allows you to kind of go into other plays. Twin Shadow allows you to, like, stop your opponent from doing crazy stuff because, like, if you have this set on the field, obviously you search for it, you set it, you can go into a full armor master, you can go into a silver wind, you can go into whatever you want, and this really does help you because then if you have Black Feather Whirlwind will act as you can special summon Notham and burn your opponent for an additional 800. Or if you want to bring back Chinook, you can bring back Chinook from the graveyard if you've already banished Shamal, and this really does help too. That's why I think it's really important to have in this deck. This deck is 41 cards because Call by the Grave is in here. So now we're going to move on to the extra deck. So we've got 2 copies of Blackwing Assault Dragon, and we've got 2 copies of Blackwing Dragon. So this is the bread and butter of the deck. You only need 2 of these. I know a lot of people, if you felt, back in the past, about 6 to 8 months to a year ago, a lot of people were using 3 if you wanted to. You don't need 3. 2 is way more than enough because you're burning your opponent for 1400 per card effect, and then all you have to do is tribute 1, and then if you activate the Black Feather counter, you can actually prevent the rest of your monsters from being destroyed by battle, or destroyed by the card effect, so that actually works really well. Alright, so that's going to be it for those guys. And then we're going to move on to all the other Blackwings because there's a lot of names. You've got Full Armor Master, you've got Armor Master, never getting rid of that guy. You've got Silverwind the Ascendant, and this card's really cool because in the past, you had to have 3 monsters, or if you wanted to turbo it out, you had to use Vayu, and then it would negate its effect. This is really good because if you have Twin Shadow on the field and your opponent starts their turn, they activate effect, they get 2 monsters or so whatever on the board. You flip over Twin Shadow, you shuffle back 2 cards, you use and special summon Silverwind, and then Silverwind's effect activates, which they destroy any monster that has defense lower than this card's attack, which is 2800, which is pretty much most cards. So yeah, this works really well with the deck. I love this card because of how consistent it is. It is so good. And then we're going to have Boreas Storm the Wicked Wind, Notham the Starlight, obviously to round out the actual Blackwing cards. So we are still running a lot of Blackwings in the deck. And then for the non-Blackwings, which is still quite a bit, we've got Bystial Dissipator, obviously. We've got Chaos Angel. We've got Red Hot Abyss for the Omni Negate. And then we've got Drake Berserker of the Tenyai, which Drake Berserker works really well with this. And I find it funny. This deck, Blackwings, is one of the very few decks that consistently can summon Dissipator. It's just hilarious because most decks you have to have like because we have the Bystials and because we have Blackwing Dragon, it is so easy to get out Druid Swarm and then activate its effect. And if you have Psy-Frame Lord Omega, you can actually activate its effect, discard a card from your opponent's hand or banish a card from your opponent's hand, and then play Dissipator, and Dissipator will bring back Omega and allow you to hand loop again. So that's also a really cool gimmick if you wanted to do that. but I personally don't go with that because that's like, I'm focusing on getting rid of my opponent's cards and kind of breaking my opponent's board, and discarding cards isn't really as viable as it used to be. Maybe on Master Duel, but not in the TCG. And then for the last ones, we got Y-Strix to unbrick our hand. If you have this and you have if you have this in Hamarton or Hemerton, you can actually go into 2 level 4s or 2 Blackwing monsters, and then you can activate this card's effect and special summon Shamal, and then summon Hamarton or Hemerton, and then you can either modify its level to make it get a level 10, or you can make it a level 6 to go into Boreas Storm or whatever have you, and that works really well. Or if you want, you could discard a card to bring back and use Nothumb the Starlight, and then bring back another Blackwing monster from your hand by banishing Shamal. So, and then obviously SP Little Knight, because SP Little Knight is busted. All right, so that's gonna be it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This deck is a lot of fun, and I hear a lot of people give it flack. They always say that, oh, this deck's not is competitive. This deck can run a lot of hand traps. This deck can run a crap ton of hand traps, and it works really well. And even with a lot of the interruptions and stuff, all you need in this deck is 1.5 card combo to be able to go off. You just need Simoon and another Blackwing, or you just need Sudri and Black Whirlwind, or you just whatever, and that's all you need for the deck. I mean, it works really well. I love it, and I'm always going to play Blackwings. I wanted to showcase this because this is also more of a budget-friendly option. If you don't have the money to shell out for like a lot of the expensive cards, this is a really good place to start. And like I said, this is a very, very good starting point to kind of starting board to go into Blackwings if you are wanting to learn how to play the deck for the very first time. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. You guys were great. And with that, see y'all next time. Later.